Hello, thank you for coming to Save US Taxes. We're going to start off with three very simple questions. Number one, do you want to leave a legacy for future generations? Number two, do you want to save taxes year after year, generations after generations? Number three, do you want to learn the secret of the rich? If you answered yes to all three questions, you're in the right location. Imagine saving four, five, six figures in taxes every single year. You can use this money to put back into your business, pay off your mortgage, buy a new car, take your family on vacation, uh, give to a charity, or save for retirement. Imagine all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. Think of how much time, money, worry, anxiety you will save if you know you would never be sued again. Imagine nobody knowing what you own, where you own it, how much you own, or how much you have. All of this is possible with the Spendthrift Trust. Welcome. My name is Sally Gimmon. I'm the owner of thetrustisyou.com and a free class on the Great Discovery. If you go out to my name, www.sallygimmon.com, you'll get a 23-minute presentation, 3 articles from Forbes magazine, 2 pages of case law, and a chart showing that if you're making at least $80,000 gross single, how much you will save in all 50 states, even the states without state income taxes. Now, I believe every investor, U.S. business owner, entrepreneur, franchisee owner, and 1099 income earner needs to know this information. I believe since I found a solution for my capital gains problem, it is my duty to teach others about this solution. I believe the playing field must be leveled for all size businesses. Amazons of the world get free property. My brother, who has a brewery, got no tax benefits. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, this sounds crazy. My CPA doesn't know about this. My financial advisor has not told me this. How come Sally's telling me this? Who is she and why does she know this? This is in the IRS Tax Code 643B. It comes from England way back when King Henry VIII, that king who chopped off his wives' heads, started the Church of England. He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back in history to the Magna Carta in the 13th century. They said, oh, no, 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 King Henry VIII, you can't do this. It's contract law that came to the colonies while we were still part of England. Our current tax code went into effect February of 1913, was only supposed to be around for a few years. 111 years later, it's still going strong. The only thing it's done is grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. The super rich families of 1913, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, made sure they could save taxes. Well, guess what? If they can save taxes, we can save taxes. Now, I'll tell you my personal story in a few minutes, but I work for a private law firm that is the grandson and great-grandson of Paul Rosen. Paul Rosen was a Harvard law professor 76 years ago. He wrote 5 separate trusts to save 5 specific taxes. You are not tax-free. You're saving very specific taxes. In 76 years, not a single trust has ever been audited, and one trust, just one, was examined by a senior IRS agent back in 2018. He spent 5 hours going over everything, and then he signed off on it. The law firm is so confident in what they do, they give you a certification saying that if you get questioned by the IRS, they will defend you free of charge. Now, just to give you an idea, this is trust attorneys, or there are over 1 million attorneys in the United States. Only 4% are trust attorneys. The law firm I work on behalf of, again, grandson and great-grandson of Paul, they have 4 trust attorneys on staff, another trust attorney who just retired, but still there to answer questions. This has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and both times it's been favored. You can't get more legal than this. So there's 5 elements to the trust. All 5 elements are important. Number 1, it's irrevocable. It goes from year to year. I'm sorry. It goes from generation to generation. Uh, the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust is 7 generations old and has almost 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number, your tax ID number. Number 2, irrevocable complex. Complex means it can hold money from day to day, week to week, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. 97% of the trusts sold every year are what my mom and dad had, what Susie Orman talks about on television, the family trust. There's nothing wrong with the family trust. The only thing it's designed to do is to avoid probate, and then it dissolves. This is not your mom and dad's trust. Irrevocable, complex, discretionary. Whoever is the trustee or trustees can make the rules to all the beneficiaries. They can decide who is a beneficiary and who is no longer a beneficiary. There's no contesting of the will in court. There's no infighting. It's law. Irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor. Again, this is what differs it from what Susie Orman and my mom and dad had. When you set up the trust, you're going to have someone who is not a beneficiary or a trustee sign up to be the settler or the grantor of the trust. You will need their social security number. This is not a speed bump. If you can't find someone to do this, either myself or somebody else at the law firm can do it for you free of charge. I personally use a family friend, Roy. I started both my business and beneficial trusts at the same time. Took him to lunch. He had to sign his name 17 times. It was a bad decision. Roy was 87 years old and he had arthritis in his hands, and to sign his name that many times is torture for him. So please be a little bit more considerate when you choose somebody. So irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor, spendthrift. Like I said, spendthrift has been in front of the United States Supreme Court 2 separate occasions, and both times it's been honored. Now, there are 5 different trusts. I don't care which trust you get. They're all going to save you in 4 very important ways. Write this down. Number 1, you're going to save taxes year after year, generation after generation. Number 2, it's going to keep your information completely private. There's a false rumor out there. I'm a real estate investor. Everyone told me, hey, Sally, if you're going to be a real estate investor, open up LLCs. That's not true. LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps are statutory law, and anyone can go online to the Secretary of State or the Corporation Commission and research the LLC, S Corp, or S Corp or C Corp. Do you realize 40% of all LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps get sued every year? That comes to number 3. Number 3, all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. You're going to put all your assets into the trust. No one's going to get access to the trust. You're going to be worth nothing, so you can't get blood from a stone. And number 4, if you have the trust, you don't have to do the 2024 Corporate Transparency Act from the Treasury Department. Please, if you don't have the trust, please do the paperwork by December 31st, 2024, or else you could be fined $10,000 and or 2 years in jail. I mean, people aren't talking about this. It's a little bit scary. I want everyone to know about the Corporate Transparency Act. Some people are calling it the CTA. I get that confused with call to action. But that's the 4 ways the trust will save you. Save you taxes, keep your information private, pay no judgments if you get sued, and you don't have to do the 2024 Corporate Transparency Act. Now, most people, oops, I messed up. Now, most people are unaware of the tax brackets. There are 7 tax brackets. Let's start from the current slide. There are 7 tax brackets in the United States, from 10% to 37%. And then there's going to be 4 different ways to file: single, married, head of household, married jointly, and married separately. As you can tell, single is the most expensive way. That's one tax bracket. The next tax bracket is for investors. That's always between 10% to 37% for all your investments, except for long-term capital gains and royalty income taxes. That's to be helping with people. Now, since we're going to be spending some time together, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My watershed month was October 2018. I was living in Phoenix, Arizona. I was a Medicare broker, and my oldest nephew was getting married in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28th. If you know anything about Medicare, it's open enrollment from October 7th to December 5th. I had the time saved up, and I requested the Friday before the wedding and the Monday after the wedding off because I had friends and family coming in from all over the world. I was denied. Second thing that happened, 3 days after that, driving to work at 7 o'clock, to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm on Indian School Road, a major east-west road in Phoenix. I'm the second car through a green light. Some bozo runs the red light, T-bones me on my passenger side. Thank God I was not injured. Totals my car, and he has no insurance. I'm $8,000 upside down on my car loan in 3 weeks, and I needed to get a second car. I went from being comfortable to eating ramen noodles twice a week. I'm not in college anymore. I don't need to eat ramen noodles. Third thing that happened. My mom and dad lived in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix. They drove from Goodyear to Charlotte and were going to be gone for 2 weeks. My dad called me the Thursday before the wedding to say my mom's in the emergency room and he's not sure what's going on. I worked Friday until 8 o'clock at night, open enrollment. I drove myself to Sky Harbor Airport, took a red eye from Phoenix to Charlotte, got there at 7:30 in the morning. Family tradition, we go to IHOP for breakfast, and then we went to the hospital to see my mom. I walked in on the priest giving my mom last rites. I didn't know she was that sick. My world kind of stopped moving. 4 o'clock that afternoon, I went to a fabulous wedding and had a great time. What happened was my mom ended up having septic of the blood or blood poisoning. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. My dad stayed with my mom in Charlotte for the next 9 months. They had only been planning to be gone for 2 weeks, and I was going out to their house every weekend to do the mail. First week of December, there was a letter that was 27 pages thick. It was my mom's statement from Medicare, the emergency room, and the first month on a ventilator. When I opened it up, it was 27 pages, and it said it was $72,000. I knew my dad was retired military. They had TRICARE for life. My mom was getting the best care possible. I'm standing in their kitchen. I have 2 car payments. I have a mortgage. I have student loans because I went to graduate school. I have credit card debt, and I have an $8,000 deductible on my health insurance. Thank God I wasn't injured on my car accident. My life was a mess. Right then and there, I called my friend Glenn, who had invited me to a real estate meeting back in August. And I said, Glenn, I need to change my life today. He said, Sally, next Saturday, we're having a Christmas potluck dinner. Come meet some of my real estate investors and learn how to do real estate. I'm like, oh, bring a $5 gift and I come to the party. I'm like, wow, I'm not sure about that. So I joined the real estate group. And in 2019, I wholesaled 7 properties nationwide, and I paid off $184,000 in debt. Woohoo! I'm a rock star in my real estate group. I paid off my house, paid off my student loans, paid off my cars, everything. I was a good real estate investor. I knew about capital gains. I had $50,000 sitting in my bank account. April 4th, 2020, my CPA calls me and says, congratulations, Sally. You made so much money. Your tax bracket went from 22% up to 24%. I don't know if he was being facetious or if he really was congratulating me. I didn't think that was congratulations. I set up an appointment with him. He's in Scottsdale. I went out. He set up a payment plan for me using that $50,000 and hopefully finding more real estate because it's the start of COVID. 3 of my 6 properties didn't pay me April 1st. True story. I foreclosed on all 3 of them. But I had to come up with an extra $29,000. I was shell-shocked. I kept it together. I signed the paperwork. I got my parking validated, went down to the parking garage, and I sat in my car and cried for 20 minutes. You know where Scottsdale is? It's east of Phoenix. I had to drive back into the sunset, back to Phoenix, tears running down my face. Now, my mom's Irish. My great Aunt Kitty in Ireland always said, sleep on it. You'll find a solution. A caveat here, fantastic book to read is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I woke up the next morning, got online, because I knew I had read an article about the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office, and I wanted to find out more about it. I spent 5 months researching this, and in September of 2020, I started both my business trust and my beneficial trust. And I also started teaching in my real estate group. I was the first female mastermind in my real estate group how to save capital gains, interest income, and rental income taxes. I was loving what I was doing. This is my first house. Let me start this from here. This was my first house that I got in the North Carolina because I wanted to come visit my mom. It was a bank-owned reverse mortgage I bought for $20,000. I was told it was going to go to the auction for $50,000. We had to wait until COVID restrictions were lifted, and it went to auction for final bid was $64,326. Yay, Sally! I made $44,326. At 24% tax rate, I got to save $10,368.24 in capital gains. What I did with that money, I reinvested it and continued going. This is an amazing thing. This is the beneficial trust. Again, the beneficial trust is going to save you 5 very specific taxes: short-term and long-term capital gains, interest income, dividend income, rental income, and royalty income taxes. Now we're going to talk about the business trust. The business trust is for U.S. Business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. Here are several of my clients, just giving you an idea how much they're saving per year and how much they're saving per month. The mechanics in New Jersey. Started school year in September. He went to the local high school, got 2 kids who were interested in becoming auto mechanics. They come after school and on Saturdays, and he pays them $15 an hour. He now brings in more business and is making more money. The salon owner in the salon school is in California. The Shopify owner's in California. The home inspection company is in Ohio. The real estate broker is in Illinois. The dentist is in California. The HVAC owner is in Georgia. The real estate agent, this is just one house in August of 2023. I know in 2023 with the trust, she sold this house and 5 others. I don't know what she's done for 2023. 2024, I haven't asked her. The business coach is in New York. The chiropractor is in New York. 2 sub shops, it's now 3 sub shops in Ohio. The Amazon store owner is in, I forget where that's California too. Commercial lighting is in Illinois, and the paid speaker is in Texas. All these people are saving significant amount of money. I'm suggesting you should be making at least $80,000 a year to a gross to be saving this money. Now, if you would like, when you sell your business, this is a true story. A son saw my TikTok video, contacted me on TikTok to say his mom and dad were selling the Kentucky family restaurant they'd had for 42 years. Jim and his 2 brothers built the restaurant. So it was zero. They were going to sell it for $3 million as is, everything in it, the cutlery, the food, the menus, everything else. When I explained to him on April 15th of 2024, they'd either pay $450,000 at 15% or $600,000 at 20%, he started the trust. Jim and his wife, Marianne, were using a business broker, Sam. I had to contact Sam to get the paperwork changed over. Sam started his business trust, and then I told him about I told Sam about my affiliate program. He got the gentleman who was buying the restaurant, it was going to be his 7th restaurant, who bought a business trust, and he got paid for that. Now the next one. This is one of my favorite stories. I took my friend Ingrid door knocking March of 2023. Cold, blustery day in North Carolina. We went to our favorite New York style pizza and went in about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Only people there, and got a great New York style white pizza. Fabulous. We sat there and chit-chatted for about 2 hours. And as I got up to leave, Mario, the owner, asked for my business card. A week later, I met Mario and his wife, Marianne. They were just doing their 2022 taxes. 2 locations, making about $15,000 per month, $180,000 per year. They filed jointly at 22%, saving 90% on their federal taxes. They would save $27,193, plus North Carolina state income taxes of $7,710. Altogether, they would save $34,903 per year, and they could use this to do whatever they want. Well, what Mario and Marianne did, they saved the money and they opened up a third location in 2024, even closer to my house, which it's not good. I eat too much pizza. And then 2025, they'll open up a fourth location. When they retire in 3036, they're going to leave 2 pizzerias to one grown child, 2 pizzerias to another grown child. The children will inherit the pizzerias with no inheritance tax, and they too will continue to save federal and state income taxes. If you Every time I sell a trust, I give a donation in my mom's name to St. Mary's Food Bank in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the oldest food bank in the country and is part of Feeding of America. My mom was 5'2". I can palm a basketball, and her fingers were an inch longer than mine. She grew up in Ireland. My grandfather died December of 1939, and she had food insecurities. She was appalled when they moved to Phoenix to find out other people had food insecurities. So that's why I donate to, in her name. Please, if I can help you save money, please set up a meeting with me at www.thetrustisyou.com/scheduling, and also go out to the Great Discovery to see my class, Save U.S. Taxes Now, www.sallygimmon.com. Thank you for watching. Let's open this up for question and answering.